Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to LeTip Live. That is right, we are live on Facebook and YouTube. So any questions, comments, concerns that you have, you can put them in the comments section. We'll answer them live because today we have a very special episode. So here at LeTip, we have what they call visitations, where we visit each other and get to know each other. And what we've done is turned our visitations into a podcast so you can come along for the journey and learn about our fellow members as well. And today we have a very special guest, Pat LaCorte. How are you?
Good.
Welcome to the studio. Pat LaCorte is our architect. And, technically you're supposed to be visiting Brian, but we want to talk about you today. So Brian's going to be, interviewing you a little bit, and I'm just here along for the ride. But Pat, how are you?
I'm good. Very good. Very
Awesome.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. How was the ride in?
The ride-in was fine. It's Route 17. I live on Route 17. Route 17
Yep.
before.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's a little rainy out there.
Mm-hmm.
But just had to get through Paramus. And I'm
Nice.
fine.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
Nice,
make it up
nice.
north of Paramus, everything
Good stuff.
gets better.
Yep.
Good stuff. So Brian, why don't you take it away?
All right. So welcome, Pat. Thanks for coming here. Is this your first time in the studio?
It's absolutely my first time. Yeah.
Well, thanks
I've
for
only
coming.
seen this in videos.
Yeah.
Well, now you get to see the real thing and be a part of it. Thanks for coming by. We're glad to have you here in the Undefeated Media Studios here in Wyckoff, New Jersey. So why don't we start off with tell me a little bit about your time in LeTip, how long you've been there, and
Okay,
what it's
good.
been like.
Good question. I had to say, I think it's a good 6 years. It's
Okay.
like 5-6 years, and I got in really because with the company that I worked for, Matt Libyan had invited my ex-boss Peter Wells
Mhm.
to come, and as you know, Matt is a huge networker, and he's always
That's for sure.
He has a lot of members that he's brought in.
Yeah, it seems like everybody's got a
Yeah.
story about Matt bringing him
Everybody
into the
has a
group. Yeah.
Yeah, so he brought in Peter Wells. Peter Wells came to one meeting. He came back to the office and said, I can't do this. I have too many other commitments. But he's like, Pat, do you want to try this networking group? It's something and I had never done networking before. So
Mhm.
so I went on behalf of at the time Peter Wells Architects. Then about a year later, I left. I decided I wanted to go on my own. I had been thinking about it, and but LeTip was so good for me just personally, and I had never done networking. It was just me getting out there, and just showing my face and
Mhm.
learning how to network. That I asked Peter, Peter, can I take the membership with me because it'll be perfect for me. For Peter Wells Architects. It was just another thing that he did because he was a huge networker.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like everything. So he gladly, let me take it. And from there, I went from being a representative of Peter Wells to being my own rep.
Wow.
And it's been, like it might sound cliche, but it's been huge for me.
Yeah.
Because I needed to be networking and it just got me out there,
That's great. Well, you can really see pretty much everybody that's a part of LeTip can attest to the fact that, it does wonders for your business.
Yeah.
And, you could talk about it all you want when you're trying to get new members
Right.
and whatnot. But, experiencing that first tip, getting that first lead, is something that, you don't really truly understand how valuable LeTip is until you're a part of it. So it's great to hear that you've been doing this for 6 years now and things are going well. So why don't you tell me?
I was going to say that this is my favorite question. So this is a good spot to put it. What does LeTip mean to you?
What does it mean that the organization?
Yeah, what does LeTip your membership, and what does it mean to you?
I had never even heard of LeTip before, but I mean, what it means to me is it means that I can, it's a great way to network, and it's the whole idea of LeTip, and passing tips. It just helps, the person who, like me, who doesn't know how to network, just get over the whatever it is of trying to figure out how to refer business because basically it's we're teaching people how to refer other people, and a good way to do how to do warm referrals, how to how to introduce people to other people. And so it's just, to me, it's like networking 101, and I needed that, like I really needed to start in a very basic place, and then from there you could do whatever you want. It's also it's a whole bunch of networking, but it's also when you're trying to find a good doctor, you have this whole family, extended family of people who can refer even that, something that's not in the group. So I think a lot of people use it for that too, and I have, and it's been very helpful. So it's been really good for me.
Awesome.
Yeah,
good
so
stuff.
Great.
Yeah. So
take it, we go, Brian.
So.
Yeah, so I guess I'll take it back. Thanks, Doug,
No problem. I got
for
you.
throwing off my flow. All right, what?
Turn your flow back on. There you go.
Flip the switch, I guess. So LeTip, I mean, it means a million things to everybody in the group, and everybody's getting their own experiences out of it. I mean, I've only been in the group now for a short period of time, but I can already see just the camaraderie that is within the group, and everybody truly cares for each other. And it's something that I didn't expect to get out of something in the business area of things. I know networking is more social, but you're still there for business, but you don't feel like anybody's trying to, sell you on something, more so help you out. And having that in business, in the area of, where things are a little more serious, and you don't necessarily have time to look out for others. It's good to know that there's a group of people that have your back, and you're willing to be there for them too.
Yeah, it's definitely been that way, and I mean, I have now my accountant, Mark Ben, he's my accountant, so I found a great accountant that way, and it's also hard to find people that you trust when you're talking about accounting and body work, and the different things that we have, looking for a mortgage,
Sure.
Looking for a real estate person. So, so it's helped me, to figure out how to network. It's also helped me round out, the people that I need as a business person, as a small business. And, and you get over the concern, because I'm huge about trust, like I need to trust the people that I'm working with. And, so you get to know the people first through all this interaction, and as you guys know, LeTip is huge on showing up, being face to face. And, we've had to do that via Zoom lately, but you have to come to the meetings, and so, I'm also an introvert, so another bad quality that I have for networking. And, but I know that I have to show up, even though my first thought is like, oh, maybe I don't have to go to every meeting, but I know that I do, because it's something that LeTip really preaches. Yeah. And it's helped me, get over my, at least for that hour and a half, I try to really get over my, being such an introvert, and get, and talk to people, and so that's been helpful for me too. The other thing I did, because, again, talking about getting out of my, my comfort zone, is I tried to get involved, and so I was the visitation chair, until last year, and now I'm the tip master. I never thought I would be the tip master, but so that, like, it's, the challenges are small, so it's, so it's good for
manageable.
Exactly, manageable.
Sure.
And so, to be the visitation chair wasn't that hard. There's some responsibility. You have to put in a certain amount of time, every week to make sure that everything's organized. People know who they're visiting. There are people that didn't get the email, or that they visited this person not too long ago, so they want, to sort of adjustment. So there was a little bit of work there, and now Tip Master's a little bit more work, but it's perfect. It's really, the Tip has been so good for me, because it's manageable things that help me get out of my shell. Yeah. And so, like, every week I have to report, on tips, and so I'm good at, like, following rules, so there's the rules about what I need to report on. I'm not so good at, speaking in front of people. So, and so these are little things that are, easy to manage when I report every week. Like when I used to report as the visitation chair. Now it's a little bit more information. It's a little bit more serious because we're all about tips. But it's been manageable and it's really worked well for me. So.
Yeah. Well, you fooled us. You're doing great.
Yeah. I know.
You're doing great.
I mean, it is great to see that, networking is such a social thing, but, in LeTip, if you're not necessarily the most social person, you're still able to, get the most of it regardless of your personality or business. And that's just something that is invaluable.
Yeah.
So you've been in LeTip for about 6 years. How long have you been doing architecture? What made you go into the field?
I'm embarrassed to say that I've been doing it for like 30 plus years. So it's really like 35 years.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, I've always been an architect, period. Like my dad was a contractor, so he was in construction, but my parents sort of had maybe like a little higher expectations, or wanted me to get my college education. So, when it came time to pick a career, or at least a major, I was thinking, well, architecture is construction related, and I had never drafted or done anything, as an architect or as a draftsperson, and so from day one of college, like I had to learn from scratch, and so I just basically, it's been like a sort of like a straight line, been an architect for forever, and yeah, I love it. You have to love architecture because it's hard. It's time consuming, so you have to really like the whole process. And I do. I really love being an architect.
Yeah, it's funny that you say that now, thinking back on it. When I was younger, like I'm talking toddler age, playing with wooden blocks and everything. Right. Me and my brother were both sports fans, so we'd build these stadiums. And my parents would always joke around like, oh, you guys maybe might go into architecture one day, but never ended up happening. But just some fond memories of
that would be that's something that stadiums are kind of like buildings, and a lot of them are starting to look more and more like buildings.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. Arenas have always looked like buildings, but stadiums now even, are starting to look like. And I've never done a stadium. I had a chance to work on MetLife as a consultant for like a green building certification.
Wow.
But they kind of, because they were under such huge pressure to finish, they were concerned about trying to certify the stadium, and so because it may have added some time to the schedule. So, but I almost got to work on my stadium.
Still exciting.
It was good just to submit a proposal to work on a stadium.
Right. Now I got to ask. I mean, MetLife, 2 teams play there. Which one is your team?
I'm a lifelong Giants fan.
Okay, that's better. That's better than the Jets. Better than the Jets.
Well, it's not. Well,
especially this year.
Morally, perhaps better, but in terms of skill level, I don't know. I really don't know who's the better team of the two.
No, I mean, before talking about career, before I was an architect, I actually was a vendor at the old Giants Stadium. It was one of my first jobs.
And nothing beats a Giants Stadium Knish. Those are nice on a nice cold November day. You get a nice Knish, heats you right up.
Knishes.
Yeah,
I sold hot dogs.
Yeah,
it was that was hard as a person who doesn't was kind of shy.
Right.
But it was so much fun. Because I love the Giants. And I got to. Just saying that I was a vendor at Giant Stadium was worth it.
That's exciting. Yeah, the energy at games are always great.
Yeah.
Always great.
So I do want to remind everyone that we are live. So if you have a question, please put it in the comments section and we will answer it live. Looks like we have one. Oh, we do have one. Connor asks, what type of architecture are you involved in?
Yeah, so I have a long background in commercial architecture, doing doctors' offices and any kind of commercial building like restaurants, retail, which I had done throughout my career when I worked in larger offices. When I started my own company, I had to scale down, and that usually means that always means that you have to do the smallest architecture, the smallest design, which is residential, which is houses. And so I've done a lot of houses. Every architect, does houses throughout their career for one reason or another, for family members, no matter what they're doing. So it's not like I had never done them before, but I had never done them on this scale, as much. And so I'm doing right now a lot of residential, and a little bit of commercial when I can, when I'm able to get it. But I've also, one of the other things, sort of like the buffer between is like the multifamily residential, so townhouses,
Mhm.
condominiums, apartment buildings, which, as you guys have seen, are huge right now. Like
Yeah.
the one building type that hasn't slowed down at all is apartment buildings. And so I have a few of those under my belt. I just have to, I'm trying to get out there and get my name out there so that, so that I can show
Sure.
that I can do apartment buildings.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So, I mean, you've been on your own now for 6 years,
6 years,
doing this.
yeah,
So, what would you say are some of the benefits, as well as some of the hardships that you faced, leaving? I guess, what is it, an agency or firm?
Like a bigger firm.
Yeah.
I worked for like 30-person firm. Like
Wow.
originally like 15, 20, then 25, 30, and then scaled down to like a smaller firm, but it was still like a 5 or 6-person firm.
Mhm.
And the benefit, of course, is that you control your own destiny.
Yeah.
And the profits are yours. So whereas you don't control it at all. Unless you're become a partner, which I kind of was in one of my firms.
Mhm.
And the other benefit for me, as we're talking about my personality and everything, is that it made me more of a better problem solver. I mean, I was a problem solver as technical issues with architecture,
Mhm.
but when you realize that you're the boss,
Yeah.
like the buck definitely stops with you. And so those things that I still hadn't learned how to solve, I now had to, and that's really liberating. Like I was probably the reason that I hadn't gone out on my own was because of the fear, of really being totally in charge.
Mhm.
But what you learn, what I learned is that it's just another version of, getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Because now you have to get everything done, that needs to be done to run a business. So
Sure.
I've really enjoyed it. Wish that I had started my business 20 years ago, but, you kind of have to get over the fear of failure,
Yeah.
and fear of not being good enough.
Right.
And
that's
so
that's tough to do. It's
Yeah.
very hard to do.
I have to say that my son, one of my sons, is an entrepreneur, and he has a couple of businesses, and he was starting up his business, when I was thinking about starting mine. So I mean, it kind of was like a little role reversal at that. I saw, not that I was, envious or anything of that kind. It was more like the challenge. He was taking on the challenge, and I felt like, if he could do it, then I really have to, challenge myself, because it was a parental thing.
Yeah.
If I want to advise him as he's growing, I kind of have to have that experience myself.
Right.
So it was one of the motivators, I have to say.
Yeah. I mean,
It's an interesting motivator.
and it definitely seems like you're somebody who's driven to always grow.
Yeah.
I gotta applaud you that, I'm somewhat of an introverted person as well. And there are times where, you just don't want to have to
Yeah, you
socialize
like
at 7 in
living
the
your
morning.
shell.
But,
Yeah.
but you seem like somebody who wants to attack head on, whatever it is that's in front of you, regardless of if it's going to be something difficult for you. So, I mean, you took accountability and said, you know what, this is what I want to do, and this is what I have to do in order for it to succeed. And you join LeTip, and things are going well. So
Yeah. I do give a lot of credit to everyone who's helped me at LeTip. So I mean, I had a little deja vu moment this past weekend, because I think my first tip was from our president, Craig Andreuli.
Mhm.
He needed help with his house, and I was just with him over the weekend, because in his summer home, he wants to do a project. So the cycle has come back around. So talking to him, I mean, he at the time, I think he was just recently married. Now he has a family, so it was interesting to see how, he had grown, and to, just to go back and now do another project with him. So,
sure,
yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
it's great.
Good stuff. Anything else, B-Rock? All right.
I can think of.
Pat, do you have any questions for us? Questions, comments, concerns?
I do not. But,
All right.
I
Okay.
do not.
Well, last chance, you guys, we want to remind you again, we are live. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments section and we will answer them live. We're going to do something new and different today. Are you ready?
All right.
We're going to do a speed round.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
We're going to do a speed round. Very, very casual questions. Let me get my speed round asking music, if you will. Pat, are you ready
I'm ready.
for the speed round?
I don't know if I'm ready, but I'll
As ready as you'll be.
I'll have to be ready.
So, Brian, you're going to help me with this.
Okay.
So don't be afraid to jump in.
All right.
So here we. Oh, let me like. Yeah, that looks like it's good. All right. Here we go. Speed round.
Okay.
So, Pat, favorite movie?
I'll say Big.
Nice. Favorite TV show?
See, I don't watch TV, but I've been watching How to Get Away with Murder.
Ooh, like it.
My brothers recommended that one.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten.
Nice.
Yeah,
but
it's. I don't watch TV at all, but it's a very interesting show.
Yeah.
I love it.
Favorite stuff you could stream? Is that a stream? Is that on like Netflix?
Yeah, it's on
I think it was Network, but honestly, I don't know because I have no idea.
All right.
anything
All
TV
good.
Related.
Favorite sports team?
The Giants.
Nice. Second, besides football, any other sports?
Oh God, I was always a huge Knicks fan.
All right.
And the Knicks I heard are doing a little better.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, they're on the rise.
They're on the rise. They're on the rise.
Right?
Brian, free to chime in. Anything you got?
Favorite food?
Boom.
Favorite food. This is my daughter and I always joke because we have such bad memories that we don't remember whatever. So I have a lot of favorite foods because I love food. So I'll say bagel.
That's a good choice.
Okay. What's on your bagel?
On my bagel, because I love bagels themselves, is just butter. You know,
Nice.
like a hot bagel, just
Yep.
butter.
Yep.
Are you originally from New Jersey?
Yes, all my
Nice.
life.
So then, is it Taylor ham or pork roll?
It's Taylor ham.
Good answer. Good answer. Connor, you got anything? You can say it out loud.
Yeah. So, what do you incorporate any green design in architecture?
This is a speed
That's
round,
speed
Connor.
round, but yes, I do.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Favorite color?
Favorite color blue.
Favorite season?
Oh, favorite season. Well, fall.
Favorite band?
That's
Favorite-
good.
Favorite band?
Band. Oh,
Artist?
yeah, it's good. I love music. So the person that's jumping into my mind is Sheryl Crow. I love Sheryl Crow.
Awesome. I had a good question, but it just dropped. You got anything, Brian? We also have. There's a great show called Ted Lasso, but he said his question is first concert, best concert.
Okay, first concert. God, I don't remember. I mean, way back when I went to see the Beach Boys.
Wow.
Nice. Jealous.
Best favorite concert was Z100 has the Jingle Balls, and I loved
Nice.
seeing the Coors live. You know, because they happen to be really popular that year.
Mhm.
Do you know who the Coors are? It's like an Irish band.
No.
It's
Not familiar.
brother. You know, it's a family, brothers and sisters, and they're an Irish band, and they jammed like an all instrumental Irish song. And
Nice.
because it was before all
It's before like Dropkick
teens.
Murphys and stuff.
Yeah, and everyone loved it, because they were just so talented. So even if you didn't like Irish music,
Yeah.
So
If you can go one place in the world, where would you go?
I actually went to my favorite place, which was Sicily, Sicily, Italy. But I guess next on my list, oh God, I don't know. I guess the only thing that's popping into my head is like Spain, more of Europe.
Cool.
All right, and I got a
Go
good
ahead.
one.
Go.
If you could have dinner with one person,
Ooh.
living
Oh,
or
God,
dead,
I
who
hate
would it be?
this question.
Sheryl Crow.
For bagels?
Yeah, for bagels. Well, I always default to like the Frank Lloyd Wright, answer. I like Frank Lloyd Wright. So Frank Lloyd Wright, which is
All
the
right.
most boring architecture answer out there.
Hey,
Cool.
I mean, it's a personal question. There's no right or wrong answer.
No right around. It's a speed round. Anything happens in speed round.
Yeah.
Any more?
For now, it's all.
Connor, any more?
For lunch or dinner with Frank?
Lunch or dinner? Which meal? Lunch.
All right.
It's easier.
Cool. Favorite studio to do podcast? Nice. And that conducts our speed round. Awesome. Anybody else here? Questions, comments, concerns? Brian, anything? Connor, you got any other questions outside the speed round? Now's the time to ask your. You don't have to ask one. I'm just wondering. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? We're coming towards the end. What was that?
The chamber, green engineer in your architecture practice?
Green.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to actually believe it or not, I was an early adopter, and I was, like in one of the larger firms, I was like the resident green. Me and one of the other younger architects, and so we brought green architecture to that firm, and sadly, I have to say that it's harder to do green, especially in a bad economy, and because people think that green costs more. What I say is that if you're planning to do a really good building, it doesn't really cost that much more because you're raising the bar to begin with. So it's a good thing to do.
Yeah, no, and I think it's important moving on, codes and benefits. And
Yes.
doing that.
I mean, I think that one of the things that green architecture did was it did raise the bar for all the codes, for the energy code,
Right.
because it just showed everyone that it's not that hard to design, an energy efficient building.
No, yeah. It's if anything profitable.
Yes, and it could be profitable. Yes, exactly.
Awesome. Great job. You crushed it. That was awesome. Anything else you want to share with the people at home? Is there a way to get in contact with you? An email, an Instagram account? Is there anything you want them to check
Instagram
you
yet,
out?
but you could check out my website.
What's that?
And you could it's architecture915.com. And you could send me whatever, an email through that.
I'm not going to try to spell that.
I know. I have to condense a little.
Yes. Awesome. Architecture915.com.
Yes.
Awesome. Make sure you check that out. Pat, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you.
Thank you for making
Thanks
me
for
feel
being
comfortable.
Absolutely.
course.
Absolutely.
Out of my comfort zone.
Well, thank you guys for watching
Thank you.
LeTip Live, and we'll catch you next time.